I think there's much that we can do regarding, again, I say electric rates. I live in a house that my wife and I designed and built. And it's a 5+ star energy efficient house. So our total energy spend is about $1,000 a year. And that's all our lights, all our heat, all cooking, all clothes drying, hot water. That's everything that requires energy. It's $1,000 a year. And so there's nothing magical about what we did, except we paid attention. We exceeded the Boca code by several orders of magnitude, because we taped every seam in this building. We caulked, and that's not exotic. That's just a lot of hard work. And so,
Right.
She and I did that. So all that money that we would have otherwise spent gets diverted into things, that, we're going to try to fund our grandchildren's education, college education. That's how the money gets paid forward. And when we talk about, Head Starts, that's a hell of a head start, to give a kid a college education.
Right. And to give people an insight of what we're talking about here with the energy prices in particular, in New Hampshire, it was signed off, I think, last year. So every 6 months, our power companies can ask for a raise in their prices to our energy board, and our energy board can approve, deny, whatever. But they approved a 112% increase starting August 1st, 2022, for all residents of New Hampshire. My bill went from an average of $500 a month to $1,000 a month.
Oh my God.
I have 3 college kids, I got 2 high schoolers. It's a big house, so it's really not that absurd, because like you, I wanted to go energy efficient. So 2 years ago, I put in mini splits into my house to try to reduce my connection to fossil fuels and burning oil and stuff like that. I figured, well, the electricity would be cheaper, and fast forward 2 years ago, my investment and the state's incentives, right? So they put in a little bit of money as well. They're all gone. And the reason being is this is one of the few states that never went green.
Yes.
At every opportunity, this state has gone completely like, no, we're burning natural gas, we're burning diesel. Like, I don't know what happened in this state, but we just refuse to do the right thing.
Well, I can tell you,
at least in that regard.
I can tell you the PUC, one of the people on the PUC that helps make that decision, the 112%, is a former oil executive. The other 4 on the PUC have zero energy industry experience. So you get somebody
surprise
completely minus the facts, and making these kinds of decisions. And Governor Sununu is also heavily invested, and his brother, in the oil industry. So that's what happened. And when I served in 2018 and 2019, we saw this coming. And we had 12 bills that would help mitigate, this rise that we just saw. And all 12 were vetoed, and we were not able to override the veto because Republicans all sided with the governor. And so that's how we got here. The Gulf of Maine project has, I went to a seminar in Maine some time ago. They have a potential of 280 gig of power in the Gulf of Maine. And these guys are amazing. They have figured out a way to make concrete float, because the Gulf of Maine is so deep, you can't anchor these windmills to the sea floor, if you will. And so they figured out a way to make concrete float, and they have 5 working windmills out there, prototypes, but they're working. And it took us 3 years, because in order to be part of that project, you have to get federal permission, because it's part of the shoreline, the 3-mile limit, international waters and all that kind of stuff. And so you had to get permission. And so the governor would not sign off on that. So 3 years, every session, they sent a letter urging him to do that. Finally, he did. And I went to his announcement thing in UNH, and he had the audacity to say that New Hampshire's leading the charge in wind power.